off.
All right, well, let's get to the heart of this matter with more on the IRS Tea Party targeting controversy. Is Representative Charles Boustany of Louisiana and, by the way, chairman of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee on Oversight. Congressman, thank you for joining us. You were one of the first to really turn the heat up on the outgoing IRS Commissioner Miller. Have you yet gotten the answers that you were looking for?
No, we have not. We continue to see arrogance, denial, and evasion from the acting commissioner and others. And I can tell you, we're going to get to the bottom of this. If we have to get every single person at the IRS to testify under oath, we're going to get to the bottom of it. This is completely unacceptable. They continue to basically not provide information not only to Congress, but to the American people. It's wrong.
You know, Mr. Miller was asked if what happened was legal, and illegal, and he said no. And a lot of that has to do with the way the IRS has done business for years. I mean, they target lower and middle class people on their certain deductions because they know those people can't afford audit or legal help. So the IRS has kind of been working this way for a very long time.
Well, there's no question about it. This is a double standard, and the IRS feels that it can come to the American people and to Congress and give these kinds of evasive, incomplete answers. Yet, if a taxpayer tried to do that, there would be serious consequences. We're not going to abide that, and I can tell you those days are going to end. This culture of rot is going to be rooted out.
Congressman, Mr. Miller said he doesn't know who gave the directive to go ahead and target these conservative groups. Do you believe him, and how high up do you think it could go?
Well, we don't know the answer to that yet, but we established that there are some connections with the Chief Counsel at the IRS and also with the Deputy Secretary of Treasury dealing with tax administration. So we're going to pursue those leads. I want to emphasize that we have just begun with this investigation. And secondly, this hearing identified the scope of what we're going to do to be much broader than what we initially thought. And so there's a lot of work that will be done over the next several weeks.
It is such a far-reaching organization, though. As we know, it really is the only organization that comes into every American household. And they frighten people. You get a letter from the IRS, you are scared to death, you do what they say, no questions asked. You know, the IRS is pushing for electronic filing of your tax return. Heck, they could start searching just on keywords and start singling people out that way. I mean, this could be very far-reaching, sir.
Well, there's no question about it. The IRS has immense power, and it interacts with every single taxpayer. And the abuses of power in these kinds of circumstances cannot be allowed. And we will do everything we can stop it and to stand up for individual liberty of the taxpayer. The kinds of information they were requesting in these applications is just unconscionable and unthinkable in America today. Secondly, they were divulging private individual taxpayer information in violation of federal law. These two issues are critically important. We need to investigate thoroughly, and there will be consequences.
Congressman, does this propel the effort to actually reform the overall tax system? I mean, is this the point where we say, okay, enough is enough?
Oh, yes. I think you heard it from Democrats and Republicans today in the hearing that it is vitally important that we reform the tax code to simplify it, to make it fairer for the American taxpayer, to really make it less complicated so that compliance is easier, administration of it is easier. But the thing is, we got to make this tax code much simpler. We can lower rates and also promote growth. And so I think this helps propel it forward.
Sir, now let's take it to Obamacare quickly. Right now, the IRS is supposed to get more money to hire more people because they will have more responsibilities thanks to Obamacare. Are you going to recommend that those funds be halted for now?
Well, I have been, and I'll tell you that the IRS's role in Obamacare is an expansive role for an entity, an organization that has already shown serious mismanagement and a culture of rot. We've got to do something about this. That's going to be another aspect of this whole investigation. Keep in mind that one of the persons who headed up exempt organizations while this was going on has now been put into a position of administering Obamacare. This is unacceptable.
Congressman Boustany, thank you so much for joining us today on this issue. We really appreciate it.
Glad to be with you. Thanks.
Thank you. And as Congressman said, this is only just the beginning.
And they have